Navigating life with my in-laws has become quite a challenge. They seem intent on moving into our newly acquired home and expecting me to cater to their every need. The irony is, as soon as I began to find success and make money, their demands escalated. It's disheartening to see one of my life's biggest dreams coming true, only to have it undermined in the most absurd way imaginable. Welcome to the chaos that is my life, courtesy of my dear in-laws. My wife, Jackie, and I have enjoyed 2 happy years of marriage. I work for a video game company, and she's a college professor, and we've excelled in our respective careers. Since our early days together, we've demonstrated a shared commitment to building a future together. Call us fanciful or fast-paced, but our relationship has always been grounded in a shared vision. Our journey began with hypothetical talks about the future, which eventually materialized into a wedding and now a home of our own. The missing piece of our life plan involved securing a house, a crucial step before moving on to the next chapters, like pets and babies. We started in a modest rental, saving diligently to achieve our dream of owning a home in an ideal suburb. The prospect of having a space to call our own filled us with excitement. We took on extra jobs to make financial progress, which unfortunately led to less time together and strained our relationship. Despite the challenges, we persevered, scraped together the down payment, and secured a fantastic deal on a 4-bedroom house with a backyard, spacious kitchen, and 3 bathrooms. The house even came furnished, thanks to substantial gifts received after our wedding. This achievement marked not only a milestone for us as a couple, but also a triumph in the face of economic challenges. Our home symbolized the unbreakable bond we shared. The only remaining task was to complete the purchase of white goods, a relatively easier step given the generous gifts we received. Yet, as we reveled in our success, the intrusion of my in-laws threatened to overshadow our joy and complicate our happily ever after. We invested in essential appliances, including cleaning machines and an executive refrigerator, enabling us to weather the situation for a few months. The first night in our new home was a joyous celebration, marked by a mini party with our closest friends and family. However, the tone took a somber turn when my in-laws subtly hinted at their desire to come and live with us, an idea that now haunts my thoughts. Let me provide some context about my in-laws. Outwardly, they are individuals who consistently present a facade of laughter and contentment, appearing to be exemplary parents to the world. However, beneath this veneer lies a darker reality that Jackie, my wife, has shared with me. Her childhood was marked by physical abuse and mental punishment, with her parents instilling bizarre beliefs, such as considering cartoons as satanic, deeming colored clothes unsuitable for public wear, and asserting that candy caused cavities almost immediately. These were traumatically misleading messages for children. Jackie's brother, Joel, the family clown and the youngest sibling, faced rejection when he came out about 6 years ago, shortly after Jackie and I began dating. The parents did not handle his revelation well. I recall moments when Jackie seemed avoidant and irritable in the early stages of our relationship. I initially thought it was directed at me, but I later learned that these emotions were a result of family arguments involving Joel splashing onto her and their other brother. Despite Joel's relatively reserved nature, several disputes led to him leaving home. Initially, he sought refuge with a friend who offered support in dealing with his problems. However, after subsequent arguments, following the conflicts Joel had with Jackie and the other brother, he moved out, and to this day, his whereabouts remain unknown. Occasionally, he sends messages to Jackie and his siblings assuring them that he's fine, but he refrains from disclosing his location until his parents accept him. Regrettably, the older generation is steadfast in their refusal to embrace their son as he is. Choosing to lose him rather than love him unconditionally, the question looms: do I want these individuals to be part of my son's life? Frankly, they're not even the type of people I wish to be associated with. Their pride in an old-school mindset clashes with my values. I refuse to be someone who lacks respect for others or, worse, pretends that everything is fine when it's not. Adding to my disdain, they now want to invade our home. They approached Jackie, and notably, I was excluded from that conversation. They didn't ask if they could move in. Instead, they issued it as a directive. Jackie's relationship with her parents is complicated. She doesn't want to be around them, yet she grapples with the belief that parents are parents and blood ties are unalterable. I'll admit that I've never been their favorite, for reasons ranging from my job in the lucrative video game industry to the fact that I have tattoos, which they associate with the devil. When I heard about their plan to move in, I adamantly said no. I urged Jackie to talk to them, but she insists she's tried, leaving me uncertain about how this situation will unfold. Fast forward to the present, and the scenario has become utterly bleak. My in-laws arrived with their car and suitcases, ready to move in. It's been a week since then, and conflicts have erupted. The primary issue revolves around their car, which they consistently leave in the garage, inconveniencing us. We must seek their permission to access our own truck when we need it. Despite being the ones who go out the least, they insist on keeping their car in the front for emergency exits. This ongoing clash has made the situation increasingly difficult. Yeah, I get it. It's understandable, but it's still incredibly annoying. They even made Jackie late for class because they left without the car and took the car keys with them, leaving us locked in. Jackie had to resort to taking the bus, arriving almost half an hour late. The worst part is that they don't seem willing to change or comprehend the impact of their actions. We've spoken to Jackie's brother Jonathan, but he feels unable to assist right now, given his 3 children and smaller, less comfortable house. We don't want to burden them further. My in-laws have their own house, and yet they seem to do this just to irritate us. Despite their age, they don't require special care. In fact, being in a place like this only stresses them more. It's not that I dislike extra help. It's just that they are like pieces of furniture, utterly useless. At least furniture is comfortable and helps you relax. They are the antithesis of furniture, annoying by their mere presence. It's only been one Sunday since they arrived, and if every weekend is going to be like this, I'd rather not have them in the same city. My mother-in-law blared the religious channel at full volume, disrupting one of the few occasions where Jackie and I could sleep in. Meanwhile, Jackie's dad smokes like a chimney in the courtyard, and the smoke occasionally wafts into our makeshift office, permeating the room with the scent of nicotine. It's unpleasant, makes me cough, and raises the risk of getting sick. Jackie tells me that her father quit smoking years ago, but picked up the habit again at 70, feeling that at that point, nothing else could hurt him. There are many aspects of this situation that worry me, but one specific concern is their hinting at bringing all their stuff from the old house to sell. This move would make their stay with us permanent, and that fills me with dread and sadness. As absurd as it may sound, my in-laws aren't fans of pets, and they refuse to adopt any animals. This leaves me wondering when they started having more say in my household than I do. Regarding Jackie, she does her best. But the biggest issue lies in the fact that I spend the most time in the house, making the experience incredibly uncomfortable. Besides, they treat their daughter like a servant, asking her for breakfast and to buy medicine. I've offered to help, but she can be stubborn, insisting that, as her parents, it's her responsibility. I don't want her to shoulder all the chores, understanding that she can get very tired. At this point, I feel useless in my relationship. Update number 2. Thank goodness this remains anonymous, as I wouldn't want my acquaintances to know that, like much of the world's population, I despise my in-laws. Mary and Joseph couldn't be worse as housemates. They've completely taken over the home that Jackie and I painstakingly built from scratch, from the decorations to our daily routine. Even the most personal touches, like buying tons of tapioca and putting up decorations from their trips around the country, now define more than half of the house. It no longer feels like the creation of a young couple, but has been transformed into their new sanctuary, and it disgusts me. Friction on both sides has escalated. There was a day when I was taking a bath, and my father-in-law casually announced that he was coming in to pee, claiming the upstairs bathroom was better. I protested, stating that this was a blatant invasion of privacy. However, he argued that I had the curtain drawn, so there was no need to be upset. Keep in mind, we have 3 bathrooms, and neither of them contributes to other aspects of the house, such as preparing meals. Jackie learned to cook with her siblings because it was a matter of life and death for her mother. However, the in-laws show no interest in contributing to household tasks. I thought they'd be a humble family that not only respected but also took advantage of their daughter's culinary skills. Instead, they are solely interested in the house, reducing Jackie and me to serving as tissues. Cheap ones at that. Our attempts to host friends have been marred by constant complaints from the in-laws. They text us incessantly from their room, complaining about everything from the music volume to our alcohol consumption. They even insisted that it's impolite for hosts to drink in their own house. Now, our friends formally decline our invitations, and it's disheartening. We're forced to sacrifice our social life to accommodate unwelcome guests in our own home. Update number 3. I finally experienced a brief period of peace at home. Jonathan, Jackie's brother, understanding our situation, decided to take my in-laws for a weekend under the pretext that his children would spend more time with their grandparents. We were immensely grateful, seizing the opportunity to enjoy some privacy. Friday was spent sleeping until noon on Saturday without worrying about a thing. On Sunday, we watched movies and tried out a couple of recipes we've been wanting to make for a long time. As hard as it is to admit, we felt like we still had so much more to do. Consequently, Jackie and I discussed the difficult decision of asking my in-laws to find their own place, as painful as it may be. I assured her that I would stand by her side during the conversation, aiming to remain strong. We decided to discuss our concerns with her parents upon their return. That Monday evening, after returning from work, we broached the topic with them. However, initiating a conversation about not wanting an older couple to live with you is inherently awkward. The challenge lay in figuring out how to express our desire for them to have their own space without offending them. Inevitably, the discussion turned to the 2 options we saw: placing them in a nursing home or keeping them with us. Financial considerations were set aside as we genuinely believed a nursing home would offer the best care and comfort for everyone involved. Unfortunately, they did not share our perspective. The mere proposal offended them deeply. Despite offering to assist with expenses, they began raising their voices, insisting they were not feeble old people and that we needn't go to such lengths for them. Feeling the tension rise, Jackie spoke up, stating, "To be honest, it's become somewhat complicated for us to keep the 2 of you in the house, not so much economically, but in terms of living together because we want and need to have our own space as a couple." Their reaction was loud and defensive. Unable to tolerate their shouting, I interjected, stating that we never wanted them in the house in the first place. They invited themselves. This struck a nerve, as they felt we saw them as useless burdens. In response, they scolded us, portraying themselves as victims. My father-in-law, refusing to yield, asserted that nobody would force him out of his own house. The situation escalated when he turned violent, threatening me due to our age difference. While I am not a violent person, the confrontation brought out the worst in me. Jackie intervened, calming us down and suggesting we discuss the matter in the morning. By then, I had reached my breaking point. I firmly asserted that there was no way they would stay at my place. The night concluded with them retreating to their room, upset, mirroring our own feelings. Strangely, it became a night of peace in the house, with both parties silently stewing in their thoughts. I even dreamt of evicting them on the spot, as crude as it may sound. I'm struggling to find an immediate solution to this ongoing conflict, but Jackie and I are in constant communication, brainstorming potential resolutions. Update number 4. I sense that some readers might be anticipating a more intense turn in the story. And unfortunately, it did take a somber turn. Jackie had a significant argument with her parents, details of which she chose not to share with me. I was left in limbo for a couple of days. About a week ago, when their conversation concluded, I found Jackie crying as she packed a small bag. apologizing and explaining that she'd stay at Jonathan's for a few days. Just like that, my life vanished from our home to her brother's, leaving me alone with my in-laws for 2 whole days. No one addressed the situation with me during that time, and Jackie, through occasional messages, assured me she'd be back soon, enjoying time with her nephews. I tried to stay home as little as possible during this period, allowing ample time for reflection on what our next course of action should be. Despite my efforts, no clear plan emerged. When Jackie returned, she presented the final details of her master plan to rid ourselves of her parents. I won't delve into the specifics for now, but I'll emphasize that when someone messes with your spouse, even if they're her parents, forgiveness may not be on the table. Update number 5. It's been 3 long months since the last update, and the situation has left Jackie and me on edge. We've exhausted all avenues to evict her parents, even exploring legal means, but the protective laws for older individuals seem to work against us. In an almost absurd twist, they attempted to take over the house, revealing documents that implied Jackie's consent, though she signed without understanding. We chose to remain silent at the time, but now, we've decided to show them no mercy. We've organized a plan to sell the house without informing them. It's painful that we can't even make it our own home, but it seems we may have to follow in the footsteps of Jackie's younger brother, Joel, and simply disappear from their lives. In our pursuit of happiness and peace, the realization struck that having my in-laws hovering over us, whispering negativity, was not conducive to a good life for anyone. So we've decided to offer our house to work colleagues of a friend, people we're not particularly close to. My friend will play a pivotal role in recommending the house for sale at a good price. You might wonder about the whereabouts of my in-laws in this equation. Well, they'll be on vacation with my father-in-law's younger sibling for 2 weeks. During this time, we plan to finalize arrangements, take our belongings, and leave the house under Jonathan's care. He's been helping us and assured us that his parents still have their old residence to return to. Jonathan is not afraid to confront them when they move back, especially since his family lacks the space to support them, even if they wanted to. We'll be making them move during this period, organizing everything to remain anonymous long enough to slip away unnoticed. It may seem a bit crazy, but we're serious about regaining our own space without unwanted intruders. Update number 6. We're still at the party, and if my excitement is palpable, it's because we all are. I'll cut to the chase as I sense your anticipation. We did go through with the change, finalizing the sale, leaving the place, and what transpired afterward is worthy of a television series. In chronological order, we sold the house, stayed with Jonathan's family for a couple of days to complete the move, and secured an apartment in the city center. While smaller than our previous home, we had surplus funds that found their way into a savings account. Then came the waiting, a mere 2 or 3 days that felt like the longest of our lives. A little less than a week later, we started receiving messages from Jonathan detailing the aftermath. We owe our lives to him because he almost masterfully covered up our tracks. Upon their return, my in-laws found the house inhabited by strangers, adorned with new decor, and none of their old belongings. The family that was now in residence returned to find a pair of older individuals complaining and yelling about why they were in their house. Instead of being bewildered, the family's reaction infuriated my in-laws. So, without hesitation, they dialed the police. While I wasn't privy to all the details, I knew it was a bitter situation. The elderly couple ended up spending a couple of nights at the police station as authorities tried to untangle the mess. What intrigued and somewhat troubled me was the conspicuous absence of our involvement in the elders' saga. The new owners reached out to us, but we insisted they relocate the elderly pair due to the potential legal ramifications of illegal trespassing, a demand they promptly fulfilled. Legal disputes ensued, and we closely followed the proceedings. Thankfully, we remained unscathed, only providing some private statements. It was a trying time, and Jackie shed many tears, but ultimately, we emerged victorious. The elderly couple, facing the possibility of trespassing charges, incurred a substantial fine and were mandated to return to their own home. This marked their lowest point, as they were already established in a residence, making the legal implications quite severe. In a nutshell, we got what we desired. The elders paid the fine, tails between their legs, and we returned home. According to Jonathan, they couldn't have been angrier. Oddly enough, a couple of positive outcomes emerged from this ordeal. First and foremost, we reconnected with Jackie's brother Joel, who, upon learning about his parents' actions, decided to rejoin us. We invited him home, and he accepted. Future updates will delve into his stories from the past few years. Plans for a family dinner are in the works, sans the older folks. We're eager to capture moments with pictures, knowing that the parents lack social networks to stalk us. Here's a little secret. After the dinner, we plan to reveal another joyful development. Jackie's pregnant, and I'm going to be a dad. It's an exciting time for us, financially supported by what we saved at the apartment. Though not guaranteed, Joel expressed a willingness to assist with the baby's care. We're thrilled, as we were on the brink of thinking it might not happen. Despite the potential awkwardness when the baby asks for grandparents, we're embracing the start of a new and promising chapter for our growing family. Reflecting on the comments, some argue that our actions were overboard, advocating for a straightforward confrontation. While I understand those sentiments, the unique plan we executed unfolded successfully, leading to positive outcomes in our lives. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. I appreciate your engagement and hope you all have a fantastic day. Stay kind.